Hello everyone, today's topic is deltoid muscle and serratus anterior muscle origin, insertion, nerve supply and action. Its origin, anterior border of the adjoining surface of the lateral one-third of the clavicle. Here, lateral border of the acromion where the four septa of origin are attached. It's acromion process, four septa, 1, 2, 3 and 4. It's a lower lip of crest of the spine of scapula. Here is a spine of scapula. It's a deltoid muscle is originate in a three: clavicle, acromion and spine of scapula. And insertion, deltoid tuberosity of the humerus where the three septa of the insertion are attached. It's an insertion of the deltoid tuberosity here. Deltoid tuberosity. It's a deltoid muscle diagram. You can see here the origin of the three part: clavicle, acromion and spine of scapula. And insertion of the deltoid is deltoid tuberosity. This is a posterior fiber, this is the anterior fiber, this is the intermuscular septum of insertion, intermuscular septum of origin of multipinnate fiber. This deltoid are multipinnate fiber. Nerve supply, axillary nerve C5 and C6. Acromial part of the deltoid is an example of the multipinnate muscle. Action. Acromial fiber are the powerful abductors of the arm at the shoulder joint of the beginning of the 90. Anterior fiber are flexors and medial rotators of arm. Posterior fiber are extensors and lateral rotation of the arm. It's a deltoid muscle are the anterior fiber, middle fiber and posterior fiber. Anterior fiber are to the flexor and medial rotation of the arm. Posterior fiber is the extensor and lateral rotation of the arm. And the multipinnate muscle is much stronger than other muscle having the same volume. Vessels is anterior circumflex humeral and posterior circumflex humeral, joints and ligament, musculocutaneous cuff of the shoulder and coracoacromial ligament. Bursa, all bursa around the shoulder joint, subacromial and subdeltoid bursa. This is origin, insertion and nerve supply and all including into the bursas. Then serratus anterior. Serratus anterior muscle is not a strictly muscle on the pectoralis region, but it is a convenient considered it here. It is also called as a boxer's muscle in very important for MCQ purpose. Origin arise by the 8 digitations of the upper 8th rib in mid-axillary plane and form the fascia covering the intervening intercostal muscle. Insertion, all 8 digitations passes backward around the chest wall. Muscle is inserted into the costal surface of the scapula along its medial border. We can see here in diagram. It's arise from to the 8 digitations of the upper 8 rib in the mid-axillary plane from the fascia covering for the intervening intercostal muscle. Then insertion of the along with the insert of the costal surface of the scapula along with the medial, this is a medial border of scapula. And the first digitation is inserted from to the superior angle of the root of spine. जो फर्स्ट है वो यहाँ से यहाँ तक मतलब superior angle of root of spine वहाँ पे इंसर्शन उसका होगा. Next two digitation is the second and third are to inserted lower down on the medial border. This is a medial border is the second digitation, and the lower 5 digitation are inserted into the large triangular area over the inferior angle. This is a 5R in lower part of scapula in inferior angle. This eight rib first is the upper part of scapula, this second and third is a middle, and then last 5 as the inferior angle of scapula. Okay, we can see here it's a serratus anterior nerve. One digitation of the from superior angle of root of spine of scapula, and this origin from to the upper 8th rib. Nerve supply. The serratus anterior is a branch of brachial plexus. It arises from the root of C5, C6, C7 and also along with the thoracic nerve. Nerve enters throughout the apex of the axilla behind the first part of axillary artery to reach the medial wall of axilla. C5 root supplies the first and second digitation. C6 root supplies the third and fourth digitations, and seventh root supplies the fifth and eighth digitations. We can see in diagram C5 root supplies is the first and second digitation, and C6 are supplies to the third and fourth digitations, and C7 are supply into the fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth digitations. Action. Along with the pectoralis minor, the muscle pull the scapula forward around the chest wall to protect the upper limb. In pushing and punching movement, fiber inserted into the inferior angle of scapula pull if the forward and rotation of the scapula so that the glenoid cavity is turned upward. In this action, serratus helped by the trapezius which pull the acromion upward and backward. Muscle steadies the scapula during the weight carrying. It helps in force inspiration. This is all function of serratus anterior muscle. In clinically, the paralysis of the serratus anterior produces a wringing of scapula in which the inferior angle and the medial border of scapula are prominent. You can see here in diagram. So the patient is unable to do any pushing action and raise his arm above the head. Any attempt to do this scapula still move prominent in medial border. Thank you everyone.